Blossoming international cooperation ideas among the members of CIBP started. That was a period of successful business performance, a period of structural and economical changes within the European sector of popular banks in France, in Germany, and Italy, for instance. At the same time, Austrian popular banks had started expanding their business activities in Eastern Europe. In order to enhance the migration of clients and client business, international desks were created by most of the partner banks, where the staff was speaking next to their native tongues, not only English, but also Italian, German, French. Passport intercontact was introduced, and a number of bilateral agreements were signed even between primary banks. The Central and Eastern European network established by Austrian popular banks was finally further enriched by the direct participation of German and French partners. In the middle of such encouraging climate of international cooperation among the CIBP banks, I was invited to participate in the creation of a first fully commercial establishment within the CIBP, a jointly owned company, an investment banking advisory boutique, with the objective to support cross-border business of corporate clients of the CIBP member banks involved. The company was founded in the year 2000, named BP Invest Consult, or BPIC, with the participation of 6 CIBP member banks as shareholders from Austria, France, Germany, Italy, Canada, and last but not least, also from Morocco. The project of BP Invest Consult ended after 6 years in the year 2006 with the termination of the company. I will briefly tell you the story, look at what and why has or has not worked. Maybe we could learn some lessons for the future from this short case study. The company's mission was to support cross-border business of corporate clients of the banks involved, and therefore to enhance international cooperation among the banks themselves. The advisory areas included business development, export expansion, establishment of joint ventures with partners abroad, and also acquisition of existing business in the country of destination of the project. These cross-border destinations were not only other CIBP partner countries, but also markets in Eastern Europe, and this geographical direction was, of course, promoted by Austrian partners as they expanded banking activities in that region. The overall idea of the creation of the joint company was, as you mentioned, at its origin born in Austria, and at that time strongly supported by German leading CIBP partners and positively accompanied by the French partners. The project attracted a strong interest and attention at the top management of the shareholders in the face of its establishment, and top executives of the shareholders were in the supervisory body of the BP Invest Consult. In the original business model, we assumed that the company would be financed primarily through advisory fees paid by the clients. The company was equipped with a rather modest capital base, but the plan was to strengthen the business model by adding an additional vehicle, a fund, an equity investment fund, which should have enabled the company to invest directly in clients' projects. Providing risk capital in addition to advisory service would represent a great value added, dramatically increasing the attractiveness of the service for the clients and providing an additional source of income for the company. As it happens, the idea was finally implemented in part only, the risk capital component missing. The advisory company was staffed with 6 persons based in Vienna and linked to the structure of Austrian popular banks and their expanding Eastern European network. An extensive marketing exercise was undertaken in all shareholders' countries and at all levels. The objective was to find clients within the existing corporate client base of our shareholder banks. They were supposed to be companies planning a cross-border business development in another CIBP country or in Central and Eastern Europe. It was actually in France where we found the strongest potential client interest through the network of Natexis corporate banking managers. We worked on a few investment projects directed by French companies to Hungary, Czech Republic, and Slovakia, but finalized only one advisory mandate for a large corporate investing in Russia, and it was the only client project for which the client actually compensated our work. All other projects did not pass through the initial stage of development, as the clients were not prepared to pay for our service. The customers usually claimed that as they are loyal corporate clients of the popular banks, they would expect advisory and support to be offered to them as part of the service package of their house bank for free. It was disappointing, but we had to stop working on a project when the clients did not sign a mandate accepting payment of fees. Fortunately enough, from the point of view of company finances, we managed to obtain a very sizable and long-term advisory mandate from the World Bank Group. BPIC became a one-third partner in a joint venture with the International Finance Corporation, IFC, and the Ministry of Finance of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The joint venture was created in order to take over, restructure, and privatize a group of banks in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It was equipped with cash, primarily by the IFC, and with shares of banks by the Minister of Finance. BPIC's part, our role, was to manage the restructuring and the privatization process, which was in the end extended over the period of 5 years. We managed to restructure and merge the banks and sell the merged bank at a price that covered all the costs of project. It included also a loan from our shareholders, which we managed to duly repay. The engagement in this important project strongly contributed to improving of the image of the BPIC, as it delivered an additional proof of quality and professionalism. And thanks to this project, the company was receiving current cash flows for a number of years, covering also the expenses and costs related to marketing and business development with the clients of popular banks. After the completion of the World Bank project in Bosnia, the main source of financing disappeared. We never managed to arrive at the establishment of the investment fund, and no other temporary non-commercial source of funding of the company was agreed upon, so the project was terminated and the company closed down. What is possible lesson for the future? Thinking of the experience of that 6 years, I think that if you were to think again of starting a similar venture, you should try to get the idea defined in every possible detail and pre-agree terms of financial involvement upfront. Do not hope that things can further develop once started. They can, but it's much easier to build upon a clear and fully pre-agreed concept. It would be extremely important to include primary banks in the process from the very beginning. Primary banks are often not really aware of what cooperation possibilities CIBP is able to offer in the club. It's extremely important to clearly define partners down to the individual persons who will be involved in the support of such project. It's extremely important to make their involvement part of the job description and key performance indicators, because it's impossible to count on cooperation willingness by partners who are not paid to do so. This is our experience. Was the idea to give up BPIC too early, or was it a mistake? It's difficult to say, but now with the benefit of hindsight, I do think so. Due to a rather politically motivated disengagement by some shareholders, this project did not get a chance to prove its viability. At that time, after first 6 years of operation and 5 years intensive involvement in this World Bank project, the company has just reached a satisfactory level of recognition. The marketing efforts within the client base of the shareholder banks were just beginning bringing first fruits. With the completion of the project in Bosnia, the company was just getting ready to start refocusing totally on the original mission, and a slightly modified business model combined with the final establishment of the accompanying investment fund probably would have worked. And finally, some corporate clients might have gradually got prepared to pay for the advisory service, and we could develop this source of finance as well. However, another important question needs to be asked: how, and if at all, such an international business structure could survive the times of financial crisis? Due to the fact that BPIC remained rather closely linked to the Austrian popular banking sector that was so badly hit during the turbulences of last couple of years, I'm afraid my answer would need to be rather negative. International cooperations are extremely delicate and sensitive plans and require a very special care in order to survive times of trouble. It is quite understandable then, ladies and gentlemen, that in the current situation you are all focusing rather on home markets, where you can best use your strengths and comparative advantages. The clients, however, the corporate clients, are acting internationally in the global markets. You need to accompany them in the international business. Cooperation with your CIBP partners may be part of the answer to this challenge. I think it is important that you chose for this Congress to have a special session on how to better cooperate. I wish the panel and all of you a very encouraging and fruitful discussion. Thank you for your attention.
Eh bien, nous allons maintenant démarrer la discussion, le débat et les témoignages des différents professionnels. Je souhaite inviter sur le plateau Madame Felice Liamas, qui représente les Nations Unies. Je souhaite inviter également Madame Leroux, pardonnez-moi, 2 secondes. Madame Monique Leroux, qui est la porte-parole du Sommet international des coopératives et également présidente and Chief Executive Officer de Desjardins Group. Je souhaite inviter Monsieur Sergio Clour, que nous avons déjà le plaisir de recevoir, directeur général de Crédit Coop Argentine. Monsieur François Perrol, Chairman of Management Board du groupe BPCE. Monsieur Giovanni De Sensi, président du groupe Credito Valtellinese. Et Monsieur Hans Hoffinger, qui est président, Chairman of the Board of Directors, et il représente l'Autriche. Monsieur José Julio Magalhães, directeur de WGZ Bank. Et enfin, Monsieur Marco Aurelio Borges, que nous avons également le plaisir de recevoir. Et je leur demande s'ils veulent bien se joindre à moi sur le plateau. Nous avons vu des expériences, certaines réussies, qui nous ont été présentées ce matin. Donc nous avons vu quelques expériences réussies, d'autres expériences malheureusement qui n'ont pas abouti comme espéré, mais qui sont très certainement des leçons pour nous. Et donc voilà, nous allons voir avec nos chers intervenants quelles sont les meilleures façons de réussir ces rapprochements entre groupes de banques populaires. Et je voudrais commencer par donner la parole à la représentante des Nations Unies pour nous dire quelles sont les attentes de son institution, de son organisation et quelles sont les recommandations par rapport à ces rapprochements.
Ms. Bass sends her regrets that she is unable to be with us at this discussion, and she requested me to share her thoughts on the theme how to better cooperate. And this is what she wrote. On the theme of how to better cooperate, I would like to suggest education as an action point. As I described in my remarks yesterday, there are a number of ways in which education can enhance collaboration and growth, and this can be applicable to all cooperatives generally. First, Cooperatives should continue to harmonize and consolidate data and statistics in order to build up databases and promote further research. Making this information more accessible will facilitate higher levels of study and scholarship, and this can bring a more sophisticated understanding of cooperatives. This knowledge can then be applied to improving decision-making and policy. Second, cooperatives should also be further integrated into university curricula and coursework, particularly in graduate and training programs. This will contribute to ensuring a stable pool of qualified managers and specialists that are attentive to the complexities of running a cooperative. These managers and specialists must be able to pursue excellence and complexities of running excellence and ensure profitability, while also respecting the core social values that make cooperatives unique. And third, cooperatives can be introduced earlier in school curricula in order to generate greater exposure to cooperative values at a formative period. Especially crucial are respect for social equity and dignity, as well as concern for sustainability, not only economic, but with regard to cultural preservation and environmental protection. With respect to financial cooperatives in particular, financial literacy should be a priority so that youth can grow up with some basics on how to manage assets and financial services. More broadly, these efforts can also be coordinated with education and awareness-raising measures for the general public. On this note, financial cooperatives should better promote the importance and role of the financial cooperative business model in maintaining a safe and sound banking system. Again, all these approaches can be considered as conducive to the enabling environment that cooperatives thrive in. For their part, financial cooperatives can play a leadership role in developing the specific strategies for fulfilling these goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for insisting on the importance of education and training, always a very strategic subject. Madame Leroux, s'il vous plaît, j'aimerais... vous n'avez pas de micro à disposition? S'il vous plaît, à la régie, si je pouvais avoir des micros supplémentaires, s'il vous plaît. Voilà, votre expérience, s'il vous plaît, de ce rapprochement, vos recommandations. Vous avez déjà vous-même vécu certaines expériences de rapprochement. Quels sont vos conseils?
D'accord, merci. Alors, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je vous partage 4 pistes d'intercoopération très importantes pour le mouvement des jardins. Et je reviendrai peut-être en conclusion sur l'idée que nous avons eue autour de ce sommet. Alors, le premier point, un engagement très clair du mouvement des jardins qui n'est pas nouveau, qui date depuis déjà fort longtemps auprès des grands réseaux et associations coopératives internationales. Alors, dans un premier temps, nous commençons par le Québec, donc avec le Conseil québécois de la coopération et de la mutualité. Je préside le Conseil. D'autres présidents du mouvement des jardins ont aussi fait ce travail au cours des 60 dernières années. Et pour nous, c'est très, très important d'être autour de table avec tous les représentants du milieu coopératif québécois. Nous faisons la même chose sur le plan canadien et nous faisons en fait ce que nous avons à faire aussi pour appuyer l'Alliance coopérative internationale. Nous sommes membres, même si nous ne sommes pas européens, et nous sommes heureux d'être invités autour de table au groupement européen des banques coopératives. Nous sommes très heureux de participer au CIBP et nous le faisons aussi auprès de l'ICMIF, donc au niveau assurance. Et donc, pour nous, c'est très important et nous voyons d'un œil extrêmement positif le travail de collaboration entre ces différents groupes, réseaux, associations coopératives, parce qu'à la fin de la journée, nous poursuivons les mêmes objectifs et c'est important que nous travaillions ensemble. Deuxième engagement de Desjardins, et j'en profite aussi pour faire un clin d'œil à certaines personnes et groupes dans cette salle. Alors, nous avons un engagement très ferme, lorsque c'est possible de le faire, de choisir comme partenaire financier des groupes coopératifs. Et je donne un exemple concret. Donc, par exemple, pour nos émissions de dette sur le marché européen, nous sommes très heureux de pouvoir compter sur les conseils, les avis et les appuis du groupe DZ Bank, que je salue, du groupe BPCE avec Natixis, que je salue, et le groupe du Crédit Agricole qui nous ont donné en fait un appui considérable pour faire connaître le mouvement des jardins, nous aider dans la structure finalement de nos émissions. Et nous faisons aussi la même chose. Nous sommes à développer le marché asiatique actuellement et nous faisons un point d'honneur de choisir dans nos partenaires financiers des groupes coopératifs. Et ça, je crois que c'est une illustration très, très concrète, très tangible du genre d'activité que nous devons développer ensemble. Troisième, et donc j'en profite pour les remercier de leur appui et je sais aussi que certains d'entre eux continuent d'avoir de nos titres en portefeuille et j'en profite pour les remercier. Troisième élément, donc troisième engagement, un engagement stratégique très important du mouvement des jardins, d'accompagner le secteur coopératif multisecteur au Québec et au Canada. Par exemple, nous avons développé une offre avec nos 4 secteurs d'affaires, donc que ce soit le financement aux particuliers, la monétique, que ce soit le financement aux entreprises, que ce soit l'assurance de dommages, donc l'assurance entreprise ou l'assurance de personnes pour les services aux employés, que nous avons, permettez-moi l'expression, packagé, organisé ensemble pour en faire une offre extrêmement attrayante pour les petites, moyennes ou grandes coopératives.